The Chancellor set to announce the biggest shake-up of pensions for decades tonight at the annual Mansion House speech. Rachel Reeves hoping it will unlock billions of pounds of investments by creating pensions mega funds. Joining us now is the Conservative Shadow Secretary of State for Levelling Up Housing and Communities, Mr Hollinrake, to react to this and other stories. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
What do you make of the pensions reform? Good plan?
Yeah, it is a good plan. I mean, there's something, it builds on what we did last year. Jeremy Hunt at the Mansion House reforms, the Compact and the Edinburgh announcements both really set the expectation that pension funds would start to invest more of their money in infrastructure and high-growth businesses. It's the right thing to do, and too often our pension funds have been investing in things that are seen as safer investment, things like government bonds, gilts. So this is the right thing to do. We've got to make sure, obviously, see the detail of it and be careful that we get the detail right. But essentially, investing in the UK productive economy is the right thing to do.
Obviously, and as I was discussing with the Pensions Minister earlier, they're not going as far as telling pensions funds and investment houses how to invest in certain levels that they have to hit. They're not going that far. Is that also a sensible decision, that politicians shouldn't tell the investment community precisely what to do?
I think you've got to be careful. I think the expectation should be that these investments would be made principally in UK companies. But the pension funds are clearly there to produce a return for their investors, for their savers. So you've got to strike a balance between making sure we invest in the UK economy, but also making sure those returns are good for those savers and investors. But I think there should be some expectation around that and some expectation management around that. This was always the case, that this would be putting more money in the UK economy to drive forward the UK economy. That's good for everybody, including those savers, investors. So it's right that we make sure this money does flow through to UK companies, but we should be too prescriptive about that.
This is an extraordinary sort of striking level of support for the government policy. I'm not used to this.
Well, we say, as we've said in the past, wherever we can support the government, we will. We want the government to succeed. But we'll call it out where we think it's got things wrong. And I'm not saying there were some detail in here we might challenge, but the principle of this is good, and it was set in train, of course, by Jeremy Hunt earlier, so we should support it.
I wanted to pick up on council tax. It came up, obviously, yesterday in PMQs a fair amount. Should it be going up, and by how much?
Well, there's no doubt that we've let council tax rise in the past because public spending is difficult, particularly on things like social care. What we've done in the past is we have linked that to improved services in terms of local authorities. There doesn't appear to be any link here. But also, I think the astounding thing we saw yesterday was the Leader of the Opposition, Kemi Badenoch, yesterday challenged the Prime Minister about this. Would they be raising council tax? He didn't seem to know the answer to that, or by how much. It was only latterly the Number 10 had to issue a clarification to say there would be this 5% cap on council tax increasing, which we put that cap in place to make sure those bills were affordable. But there are strains on public finances, particularly in local authorities, so we're not against it in principle, but there should be strings attached. And we've seen too often with Labour, they put huge amounts of money into pay settlements without any strings attached.
But let's just touch on the principle again and this tone that we have today, Kevin, to seize upon of constructive discussion rather than politicisation. I mean, stepping back, compared to any other developed economy, our council tax relative to the values of the properties is unbelievably low. Should it be more meaningfully higher as part of a broader reform of property taxes?
I think the one thing we'll disagree on, ourselves and Labour, if we can not trying to move away from that note of harmony, is the fact you've got to be honest with people and straight with people. What Labour said pre-election is there would not be significant tax rises, that everything in the manifesto was fully costed, fully funded. Now we've seen huge tax increases. We've seen £40 billion of tax increases, 25 billion of that focused on businesses, most of which will flow through to workers in terms of lower wage settlements or higher prices. So the public can only take so much in terms of tax increases. They've seen huge tax increases already.
What about council tax specifically, though?
Well, like I say, we set a cap of 5%. We expect
So it shouldn't be higher than that?
No, I shouldn't.
Okay. News yesterday on the Post Office in terms of various changes that are going to see branches closed and jobs lost. What's your reaction to that?
Well, that's not been confirmed yet, but I think we need to be honest about people. You know, the cost of running the post office network is very high. It's a bill to the taxpayer, and we're seeing postmasters not earning enough. Many of those postmasters are not even making a profit. So it's right that the new chair, who we brought in, Nigel Railton, is looking at this and seeing how we can have a post office network that's fit for the future and that is sustainable. But also the postmasters at the sharp end do make a living. They are self-employed business people. Again, they're hit by Labour's job tax. This £25 billion increase in national insurance, which Labour said wouldn't happen, is making life really difficult for those people at the sharp end to make a living. So it's right we look at it. What's the right shape for the post office going forward? What the post office should be doing, and I was pressing them to do as post office minister, time and time again, was cut costs at the centre. The centre is bloated. There's too many people. There's 143 people in the post office that earn £100,000 or more. These are management people at the centre of the organisation that manage the organisation. There's too many. Those numbers should be cut back to make sure more of the revenue that goes into post offices actually goes to the postmasters.
Wanted to touch on two other quick topics. The Chagos Islands. Do you think Nigel Farage is right to be raising this as an issue and trying to press the government to rethink the decision?
Yes, because we've done exactly the same. We think it's absolutely wrong that the Chagos...
Well, but James cleverly set this in motion. The Conservative government laid the groundwork for this.
I don't think... David Cameron, our last Foreign Secretary, was very clear. He did not want this to happen. We don't want this to happen. The US has got concerns about this from a security perspective. So I can't speak for James Cleverly. I don't know the details of that conversation. I think he would be better placed to respond to that question. I understand that it's not the case that he was intending to do what Labour have done with the Chagos Islands. We think it's wrong, and this measure should be stopped.
And finally, how are you planning to vote on the assisted dying bill?
I'm planning to vote in favour of it. I voted in favour in 2015 when the provisions of the assisted dying bill that was brought forward at that point were very similar to the current bill, Kim Ledbetter's bill. I've had too many relatives, including my mum, passed away in very distressed circumstances. And I think, that's very kind of you, but I think people deserve a choice, should have a choice. And there are checks and balances that need to be put in place, and there are those checks and balances in this legislation. So you've got two doctors have to confirm you within 6 months of passing away. That has to go through the court to make sure all those decisions have been taken in the right way and there's no coercion being suffered by that individual. But given all those checks and balances, I think it's the right thing to do.
Thanks, as ever, for joining us, Kevin Hollinrake.
Thank you, Wilfred.